Now we have my colleague and friend to the south in Arkansas, Representative French Hill, wants to share a little bit, and appreciate you being here tonight.
Well, I thank my friend from Missouri, Ms. Hartzler. Thanks for your leadership on this issue. Thanks for letting us gather together on the People's House floor tonight and talk about this issue and try to lay out for the American people watching some of the facts associated with this situation. I'm not sure they always get the full story. When I came to Congress, I knew the only way to really understand this border security issue was to go to the border. So since I was elected in 2014, I've been down on the southwest border 4 times and getting ready to go back in just a few days. On those trips, I meet with Border Patrol agents, local law enforcement, county judges, citizens, community leaders, and we all talk about the issue of what's the definition of border security. The physical barrier aspect, the technology, the observation, the manpower, the coordination with local law enforcement. And we always talk about drugs and drug cartels, and you've heard from our leader tonight that they outman and outgun American law enforcement, federal and state. And just last week, I got a note from my good friend that we lost another young person from my high school due to heroin and fentanyl overdose. And I carry a little packet of Sweet and Low in my pocket, Mr. Speaker, because a packet of Sweet and Low has enough fentanyl in it in this size, a gram, to kill 500 Americans. So it's killing our kids, Mr. Speaker, and it's coming across the border with Mexico. Physical barriers shape the strategic deployment of our force. That's why county judges support it, mayors support it, our Border Patrol supports it. This is why over the past 20 years, when President Bush proposed it, President Clinton proposed it, Bush 43 proposed it, and Obama supported it, we built fence starting in San Diego, and we see where there's fencing, we see 90% reductions in people crossing illegally. Fences work, physical barriers work, physical barriers shape our force deployment, allows us to better use our manpower and coordinate our very understaffed, undergunned forces. Secondly, it's increasingly frustrating to me that this is a crisis of politics on this House chamber and in the United States Senate. It is utterly hypocritical on the part of our leaders in the House and our minority in the Senate to not speed the need for humanitarian assistance on the border and physical security on the border. Republicans have proposed this time and time again last year. We got no Democratic votes for it last year. I want my friends on the other side of the aisle to be able to make the moral distinction between those who come to our country legally and those who come here illegally. It seems to me that's a straightforward promise. America is a nation of immigrants. We are the most generous and welcoming country in the world. One other point I want to make before I close, my friend from Missouri, is to talk about people seeking asylum here, people coming to our border with no papers, no documentation. There was a news story this week about the Bangladesh pair of men trying to come in and cross the border, interviewed on television, national television. We see time and time again people come from Bangladesh, from all over the world. They come to Mexico, they come to our border, and they have no passport. How do they come into the United States? They have no documents. They claim asylum, credible fear. And yet here, Mr. Speaker, is a driver's license handed to me by a Border Patrol agent in Chula Vista, California, of a Saudi Arabian, born in the early 1990s, and yet we have no record of someone from Saudi Arabia crossing at Chula Vista in the time frame that this driver's license was found in the Chula Vista station outside San Diego. We have a crisis on this border, and when people tell you that there isn't one, they're not telling you the truth. That should terrify us, that we don't know who's coming across our border, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I thank the gentlewoman from Missouri for holding this hour. I thank the opportunity to speak to the American people about the drugs and the impact on our youth and the impact on our national security by not having a secure southern border. I thank you, and I yield back to my friend from Missouri.